Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Janet.
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning.
That was an interesting conversation we had, and we have it in our good news report.
Excellent.
But you know that, right? How are you this morning? Lagos, Eko.
I was about to say that. Lagos State, we lead, others follow. Ogun State.
Well, you know I'm from Delta State. Don't forget that. You know how
I'm married to a Delta man.
Correct.
Well, first Lagos,
Good morning, Rufy on fire.
Pass through the gateway. Ogun State is the gateway to Nigeria.
I love it.
Please remind how.
Our diversity is our beauty.
Remind how.
Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending by looking at reactions trailing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's announcement that Nigeria has achieved its 2025 revenue target ahead of schedule. President Tinubu made the announcement on Monday during a meeting with members of the Buhari organization at the State House in Abuja. Tinubu disclosed that the milestone was achieved as early as August and was primarily driven by non-oil earnings. He stated that this progress means his administration has now ruled out the need for further borrowing to fund the nation's expenditure. Well, let's take a look at the video before we take some reaction.
Today I'm standing before you, I can brag that Nigeria is not borrowing a dime from local bank. The revenue, we have met our target of revenue for the whole year. We met it in August. I've reviewed this morning. Non-oil. If non-oil revenue is going well, then we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing on the other side.
All right, this video has gone viral. So let me take some reactions, and this is from Africa Must Be Better. They wrote on X. The statement Tinubu made is confirmed. The president is correct. Nigeria has met its annual revenue target by August and is not currently borrowing from domestic banks. Economic outlook remains cautious. But despite this success, public debt levels remain high and may necessitate borrowing in the future. While Arab Mogul wrote, all this talk about revenue targets and Trump, while the security of Nigerians is being neglected, money in the treasury doesn't stop bandits, kidnappers, and violent crimes. Focus on protecting the people first before bragging about non-oil revenue. While Tolu wrote, the real threat Tinubu should be losing sleep over isn't Trump. It's the daily exploitation of Nigerians by telecoms, banks, and corporates hiding behind government cover until that rot is confronted head-on. There is no foundation for a truly stable economy, and that's one of the concerns of Nigerians. Then Nse wrote, my question, 1, what about the borrowing from institutional investors, international organizations, and foreign nations? What is the size of our borrowing, especially when compared to per capita income? 3, where are we on our total revenue, oil and non-oil target? In the meantime, we're also getting reports that Chinese businesses in Nigeria are increasingly using the local Naira for transactions, thereby bypassing the US dollar, which in turn is contributing to the Naira's improved performance in the foreign exchange market. Well, according to the president of Association of Bureau of the Change Operators of Nigeria, Aminu Gwandabe, Chinese nationals are accepting Naira for yen through peer-to-peer transactions, which is especially visible in the mining sector. The shift, which is not officially facilitated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, is making trade with China more direct for Nigerian importers, as they no longer need to convert to a third currency like the US dollar. This is great news, Ayo, and this has been, is a resounding welcome among a lot of Nigerians.
Absolutely. We've often talked about the dollarization of our economy and how a lot of, especially when it comes to trade terms, a lot of trade, even within Nigeria, is done in dollars. So to see that the Naira is now favored as the currency of choice is definitely going to strengthen, of course, our currency against the dollar. So that's excellent. What I hope is even more enabling environment for people to use Naira as a mode of transaction, even within the country. We've often talked about clampdowns in, clamping down the use of dollars for transactions, whether in real estate, in other sides of society. But I think it's important to stress the fact that until we begin to enforce those directives, we'll continue to see, increased dollarization of the economy. But I think this is definitely good news, and it would help to, our trade with China. But going back to the conversation, the earlier news with what the president said.
Yes.
We'd spoken about this earlier, and we clarified that when he said that they had hit their revenue target, he was actually speaking more around the rate of growth of revenue compared to last year.
Yes.
So they clarified it to say that what he meant was that last year they had the revenue at this time in 2024 was about 10.4 trillion naira. That had increased year on year to 15.7 trillion naira. That's by 50%. And so he was applauding the fact that they had set a target at the beginning of the year during their budget announcement, but now it has now been met even before the end of the year. So that's, something. Not that they had totally met revenue targets. We still have a few gaps there. But I think what was even more important for us was budget performance and what this revenue would be used for. So transparency, the opportunity to see accountability and to see actually the people, everyone in Nigeria being able to feel the impact of these increased revenues. We can't just live for announcements. We can't just live for, celebrations that we don't see the real impact when it comes to the pockets of the people. These monies can be invested into critical social infrastructure, including, healthcare, education, including ensuring that, we've talked about transportation subsidies in the past. So those things are what we want to see included in his announcement.
Essentially, the federal government is moving in the right direction. In another development, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has admitted that some of Nigeria's diplomatic missions abroad are facing potential eviction due to unpaid rent, bills, and local staff salaries. Well, according to a statement posted on X, the ministry explained that the situation is a direct result of long-standing budgetary limitations which have hindered the mission's ability to operate optimally and fulfill their diplomatic and consular duties. However, the ministry also noted that the Tinubu administration is actively working to address the issue. Accordingly, the federal government has released special intervention funds with 80% already cleared for payment to prioritize settling debts with service providers and paying staff. The government is also developing a sustainable financial model to prevent future crises and restore the country's image abroad, a concern that has been voiced by many, including citizens on social media. Dr. Pati, a comment. We saw this story. Obviously, it's good that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has clarified that, this is the situation that we are facing now. But you did see some reactions of Nigerians on social media who have, really had issues with the embassies abroad. The embassies represent us, absolutely. Okay,
the first thing that we need to deal with is that, look, our ambassadors, whether professional career ambassadors, diplomats, or political appointees, were recalled 2 years ago. 2 years later, the Nigerian government, the Tinubu administration, has not been able to appoint new persons to those positions. Yes, those missions are manned by child affairs, but for you to really have an embassy running, you need to have personal representatives. That's what diplomats are, ambassadors are. They are direct representatives of the president of Nigeria or the president, the leader of the sending nation. That has to be addressed. The federal government has been going back and forth on the appointment of diplomats. I think they need to address that. The second issue, as Kemebi Ebiemfa, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, pointed out, is simply that, look, yes, this issue of budgetary allocation for the missions abroad has been there before now.
Yes.
The ambassadors are not paid. They don't have basic money to run the missions. Locally recruited staff are not paid on time. They cannot meet their obligations. And I think that it's been a very embarrassing thing for the Nigerian government that our missions are not properly funded. The thrust of the statement by Ebiemfa, the spokesperson of the Foreign Ministry, is that the Tinubu administration is now going to address this. that there is a fund that has been put in place to pay the arrears, pay the allowances, and also a plan to make sure that these missions are funded, supported on a sustainable basis. And that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is liaising with the Accountant General of the Federation's office that approved funds by the federal government are immediately disbursed so that these missions can function. So that's reassuring, but it has to be on a sustainable basis because Nigeria has an obligation, to relate with other institutions, other countries, either at the bilateral level or at the multilateral level. So we receive the reassurance by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but we have to watch and see and measure all these statements in terms of follow-up actions and outcomes.
Well said,
it's not enough to just reassure us. And then let them appoint ambassadors. If they don't know who to appoint, we can make recommendations from our Rice News.
Which one will you take?
No, I don't want to leave Nigeria. I'm better off here. But there are persons we can recommend to them in case they have a difficulty looking for people.
We have our international correspondent who's always traveling. Adefemi Akinsoya, number 1 on the list. Well, all right. Let's head over to Katsina State now, where a shocking video has emerged showing residents celebrating as gunmen wielding AK-47 rifles and riding on motorcycles stormed their community during a peace dialogue meeting. The gunmen were seen moving freely with their weapons, drawing cheers and praise from some locals despite the absence of Nigerian security agents in the area. The video also captured residents taking selfies with some of the gunmen, shaking hands with them, and even praising them while others engaged them in friendly conversations. Let's take a look. The disturbing video raises serious concerns about security situation and the state of relations between some communities and these armed groups. The residents appear to treat the gunmen like celebrities, as we saw in those videos, Ayo Rufai, enthusiastically posing for pictures with them. Well, we also had reports that these community members were actually attacked during a meeting. And after that meeting, the community members talked about the fact that the federal government may be aware of the meeting, and they actually accused the federal government of being aware of the meeting, and that these bandits were talking about the fact that this meeting that was holding was not supposed to hold because they are sabotaging the government of the day. Rufai.
Oji, with due respect, do you blame the people that are taking pictures with criminal elements and bandits? You say people are turning them to celebrities? Has the government not turned these bandits into celebrities? Don't you see governors of states take pictures and do photo ops with these bandits?
We've seen that.
So what the people just did, they copied their governors. Their governors that take pictures with criminal elements, they are the ones they are copying. So they are just copying it. And it's a reflection of the state of insecurity in the country, where if you have an AK-47, you are the big man in town, everybody will run around you because you don't want to die. So they are just copying is it not in this country we saw OjyOkpe for terrorists and bandits, Operation Suluhu? I beg you the floor, let's talk about things better. So the people are copying what their governors are doing. Their governors too are taking pictures with criminals and bandits and having peace deal with them. They are drinking tea together. That's what. So the people copy their leaders.
Well, it is good though. I believe yesterday during that meeting in Abuja, the president also said that he's going to send some troops to that area in Katsina. Only recently we saw gunmen storm a worship center and killed it's about 55 people or 55 communities. And I'll just quickly read what the president said. He said, "We will defeat insecurity. We must protect our children, our people, our livelihood, our places of worship, and our recreation spaces. they can't intimidate us. So it's good that the president had released that statement. A quick comment, then we'll take the story.
No, the comment is simply that when you see the people serenading, celebrating bandits, it says one thing, that the people have lost faith in their government, that the people have lost trust in their government, that the people believe that these bandits who come to them, either with religious propaganda, or they collect taxes from them, or they promise them protection, it simply means that they believe more in those bandits. The second thing is that the Nigerian government has always talked about a whole of society approach at a non-kinetic level, that the Nigerian people should also support the authorities to fight these bandits and terrorists. And then you'll find in certain parts of the country, you know, some people saying, oh, these are our heroes. I think it's unfortunate. It speaks to the failing profile of the Nigerian state, qua state. The second point is that the president, speaking to the orphans of the Buhari organization, because they are orphans, their leader having died, having passed on to glory, and reassuring them that, you know, his administration will provide security, bandits cannot intimidate the government. That is the purpose of government. Section 14 sub 2. The job of the government, whether it's Tinubu or anybody else, is to ensure the security of the people and their welfare. So President Tinubu is not saying anything extraordinary. What we expect is result, outcome, difference, so that you and I can sleep without waking up 3-4 times in the night each time we hear a sound. We say, hey, what's happening? What's happening? We should be able to sleep with our 2 eyes closed.
May those that have lost their lives, especially in Katsina State, may their souls continue to rest in peace. We need security in Katsina State. We'll take the story.
Else, not just Katsina.
We're highlighting Katsina today. Well, let's take the story emerging from Niger State, where a female food seller known as Amaye was reportedly killed by a mob of angry youth over alleged blasphemy against the Prophet Muhammad. The incident reportedly occurred in the Mariga local government area of the state on Friday, August 29th. These images are an illustration of the incident and are not the images of the scene. Well, according to eyewitnesses, the incident began when the female food vendor was in a conversation with her nephew, who reportedly asked for her hand in marriage. She's said to have responded with comments that are considered blasphemous, which in turn angered a crowd of young people. The mob demanded her immediate execution, and she was ultimately stoned to death and set ablaze. Well, we have a report at this moment from the Niger State Police Command stating that it is intensifying efforts to arrest the perpetrators of this killing. The police spokesman, Superintendent Wasiu Abiodun, say they condemn any act of jungle justice and added that efforts are being made to ensure that the killers are investigated and prosecuted. Amnesty International is reporting that between 2012 and 2023, mobs killed 555 Nigerians, 32 of whom were burned alive. While reacting to the news in a post on X, Amnesty International stated, in part, that the lynching of Amaye following an exchange with a young man is deplorable, and authorities must ensure those responsible for her death are immediately arrested and brought to justice. That a mob overpowered security personnel and instantly lynched her shows utter disregard for the sanctity of life and due process. The Nigerian authorities must curtail the impunity that has led to an increase in mob violence and arrest all those involved in this reprehensible act, and also ensure that they are held to account. My heart broke with this story.
Yeah, this is so sad. Another life lost due to what is considered blasphemous statement. And of course, when you talk about this, you cannot but remember lovely Deborah Samuel from Sokoto.
Yes.
You know why this keeps happening again and again? Because there doesn't seem to be consequences for such actions. The 2 students identified in the Deborah case, what happened to them? Have they been persecuted? Have they faced time for what they've done? There are people who have come on social media.
And then some release.
Nothing concrete has happened. Nothing concrete has happened to them. And so that is why, years later, another innocent girl would be killed by a group of people who have deemed in their own personal court of law and by their own estimation what ought to be the punishment for her infraction to have killed a woman who just went out to do her job. And so what I'm saying is that we keep talking about religious intolerance, Nigeria being a secular state, and yet some people taking laws into their own hands in the name of religion. But I think the biggest issue is that we often look the other way, including very prominent members of society who see these things happening and say nothing about it so as not to offend a certain base. Until we're serious enough to handle this and actually bring the people who are the perpetrators to book, we are not going anywhere. I'm so sad that this has happened. And it actually happened that they took the girl to the palace, so a traditional leader was involved. Yet they said he handed her over, and then the security operatives who were there were not able to contain this. Are we joking? So, those are the kind of questions they ask.
Rufai, you heard the statistics. 555 people have been killed so far within that time frame.
It will
31 burned alive.
Yes, it will happen again, because when Eunice Olawale and Bridget were beheaded, should we even go back to the days of the Akalukas of this world? When all of that happened, nothing happened. In fact, you didn't even tell the story well. When people protested about Deborah Samuel's case, you know what happened? There was a riot in Sokoto that day that for 2 days, religious homes were targeted, were destroyed. Till today, nothing came out of that case. Oji, let's not deceive ourselves. The police will just stop. Nothing will come out of this. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar deleted his tweets.
Yes,
he was until tomorrow. When they asked him in a panel, he said, I normally sign off my tweet and everything. He tweeted before. He deleted his tweets. Yes. So let's call a spade a spade. We deceive ourselves too much in this country. Nothing will happen.
Well, may her soul rest in perfect.
It's sad.
It's a really sad situation.
Nothing
it's good
will
that
happen.
The police has responded, and we really would like for those people to be named and shamed at this point. Still in Niger State, a video capturing chaotic scenes from an empowerment program in the Suleja Tafa local government area of the state has been making the rounds on social media. The incident, which shows residents looting food items, reportedly took place last Sunday, August 31st, at about 4 p.m. at the Suleja Stadium. The empowerment program was organized by Honorable Adamu Tanko, the lawmaker representing Suleja Tafa. In the video, residents were stumbling over one another to grab relief items, with security personnel fighting to maintain order. This is quite shocking, Dr. Abati. The event's rapid descent into violence is outstanding. Social media users have been reacting to the video, with one person noting that the biggest problem in the country is hunger, and that providing basic amenities would solve many issues. Well, in the meantime, in a new and unique move, Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu, is dedicating her upcoming 65th birthday to a fundraising initiative for the National Library Project. The First Lady, in a video message, said that instead of receiving traditional birthday gifts like cakes, cards, or newspaper messages, she asked well-wishers to donate funds to the Remi at 65 Education Fund. The initiative, which is coordinated by the Federal Ministry of Education, is aimed at helping to complete the long-stalled National Library, which has been under construction since 2006. Let's take a look.
I wish to appeal to those who would like to send a birthday card, cakes, flowers, greetings in the newspapers, or gifts, should please send the funds to the designated account for a special project close to my heart, among many others. The completion of the National Library. This will be the best birthday present I could receive. My love for education has informed my decision to dedicate my birthday to this worthy cause. This fund is coordinated by the Federal Ministry of Education, under Oluremi at 65 Education Fund, Zenith Bank PLC. Account number is 131,031,4977. Thank you for joining me in this building project. God bless you.
All right, Dr. Mati, education is the bedrock of any successful society. The First Lady has been carrying out philanthropic works through her Renewed Hope Initiative program. We also know that the First Lady has empowered women in Nasarawa. She has extended a hand of support to less privileged women in Nasarawa State, donating 50,000 Naira each to 500 women drawn from across all 13 local government areas of the state. The donation is intended to provide a much-needed boost to their businesses and improve their livelihood. I always talk about how proud I am of this woman, Dr. Abati.
We've always commended the First Lady,
yes,
Senator Remi Tinubu, for being a very supportive wife, for showing that she has experience, not just political experience, but also experience as a First Lady. And, you know, in that regard, she keeps showing up when she needs to support her husband and to elevate further that particular office that she occupies. But I think that special accent should be put on a focus on education, something she's been focusing on since her days as First Lady in Lagos State. Now at the federal level, she says when she's 65, on September 21, she doesn't want your milestone. She doesn't
I will do her milestone. I will do it.
She doesn't want congratulatory. She doesn't want congratulatory messages. She doesn't want television milestone. She wants Nigerians and her friends and those who believe that education, as you said, is the bedrock of society, to support the National Library project.
Yes.
We have been on that National Library project since 1981.
Absolutely.
That was the first time. This is 2025. Now, the Nigerian government at the time told us that that National Library will be ready in 1988. Nothing happened. Every year, if you go and check the budget, they must have been budgeting for it. Now, not too long ago, Minister Alausa, the Minister of Education, told us that the National Library of Nigeria will be ready June 2025. This is September 2025. That National Library has not taken place. Now it has taken Mrs. Tinubu to say, please donate to this project. Because a country that values knowledge should have a library.
Absolutely. I love that.
They have National Library of Congress in the US. They have library in serious countries.
I love the
initiative. We become a serious-minded country so that it's not talks, not to pack out. You know, that we are celebrating.
No.
Can we celebrate intellect?
All right.
And provide an opportunity for people to learn. So, Oshinika, no milestone. Bring money and donate to National Library. If you say you love Mrs. Tinubu,
I love donate. I can do both. I mean, I'm capable. You know, I'm always capable.
Yes, you are.
Always capable.
With all the millions we pay you, I know you are capable.
And you pay me millions. I know that. All right, we have to go.
When we are celebrating bandits, that's why we don't have a national.
All right. Well, at the end of the day, this was a great initiative. And as always, kudos to the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Now on the milestones, Dr. Abati, I will celebrate more people. Today, we celebrate Zamfara State Governor, Dr. Dauda Lawal, on the occasion of his 60th birthday. This milestone has drawn congratulations from across the country, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu leading the tributes from the Aso Rock Presidential Villa. Governor Dauda Lawal turned 60 on September 2nd. In a statement signed by President Tinubu's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, Tinubu commended Governor Lawal for his dedication to the development of Zamfara and his relentless pursuit of peace and security to the state. The president assured the governor of the federal government's continued support and encouraged him to remain committed to delivering good governance, fostering unity, and driving sustainable development. Tinubu wished him good health, strength, and divine wisdom as he continues to serve the people of Zamfara State and the nation.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Well, congratulations, Governor Dauda Lawal. We at Horizon News wish you a happy 60th birthday. What a great milestone. Now to our good news report, highlighting a brand new initiative tagged 101 Days in Lagos, a program by the Lagos state government which aims to position the state as Africa's #1 tourism destination. The Lagos state government announced the initiative on Tuesday, stating that the event is meant to showcase the state's rich culture, empower the youth, and develop a lively sports and entertainment ecosystem for Nigerians and international tourists. The initiative itself is set to kick off later this month on September 26th and run all the way through January 4th. 2026. The special advisor to the governor on tourism, arts and culture, Idris Aragbe, who unveiled this project on Tuesday, emphasized that the initiative fits into the bigger picture of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration's goals of diversifying the economy, increasing tourism, and highlighting the country's rich culture while simultaneously driving economic activity.
This is Lagos. So it's going to be a day, an evening, an afternoon of sheer, tourism.
Fantastic. In the same vein, Nigeria is set to make history as Lagos State prepares to host the inaugural E1 Electric Powerboat Championship in Africa. Well, the organizers of the E-Series and the Lagos State government have expressed their readiness to hold the world-class event. This landmark championship will bring over 250 sports personalities together. It's scheduled to be held between October 4th and 5th in Victoria Island. The event goes beyond just sports, symbolizing Lagos' commitment to clean energy and climate action. It also promotes innovation, tourism, cultural exchange, and commerce, highlighting the state's immense potential for sports and sustainable development.
Wow! Incredible.
Lagos, E1 is coming. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't E1 fantastic?
We use E1 as a platform to advocate for sustainability and gender equality.
For us, Africa is a very important continent. Technology innovation is the future. It can inspire the young generation.
We compete against superstars, LeBron, Rafa, Tom Brady, and all the guys. I want them to understand who we are really, and I can't wait.
We love Lagos, we love Nigeria. It's a very vibrant country. Lagos will be lit.
All we wanted from the beginning was to make sure we bring the world to Africa.
E1, welcome to Africa.
This is such a great initiative. Ayo. Eko ni baje, as always. I love it. Increased tourism. I wish we had more time. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Kudos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.